Welcome to StoryBean, where every story begins with real story.
You know, we all think we know the story of Jack and the Beanstalk, right? Poor kid, a cow, some magic beans, a giant up in the clouds. It's one of those stories you just kind of absorb as a kid. But what if the version you remember isn't the only one? What if there's another version out there, a darker, more complicated twin that completely flips the whole lesson of the story on its head? And that's really the big question here, isn't it? Was Jack this brave hero, freeing magical creatures from a big, mean giant? Or was he just a thief? A home invader who broke in, stole a bunch of stuff, and, caused the death of the homeowner? The answer, it turns out, completely depends on which version you hear and the tiny little details the storyteller decides to focus on. So to get to the bottom of this, we're going to look at two different modern retellings of this classic tale. And you'll see how just a few small tweaks to the beginning of the story, the setup, create this domino effect that leads to two totally different Jacks and to two totally different endings. Okay, so our two versions come from YouTube. On one side, we've got Gigglebox. It's bright, it's animated, it's pretty much what you'd expect from a classic kid's story. And on the other side, we have the Fable Cottage. This one takes a much more modern angle, really zeroing in on the moral consequences of what Jack does. And right off the bat, we see a huge difference in just how bad things are. The Gigglebox version starts out pretty general. They're poor, they need food, classic fairy tale stuff. But the Fable Cottage, whoa, it gets specific and really, really dire. Their house is literally collapsing. His mom says, there are holes in the roof, the windows are broken, we have no front door. And she gives Jack a crystal clear goal. Get at least 5 gold coins, because if you don't, the winter will kill us. See, it's not just about being hungry. It's a life or death situation with a very specific price tag. All right, now we get to that moment. Trading the family's only cow for a handful of beans. I mean, it's the move that kicks off the entire adventure. But why does Jack make such a foolish deal? His reason in each story points to a fundamentally different kind of person. In a Gigglebox version, it's simple. Jack is just a curious boy, and the idea of magic beans just sounds very exciting. It's pure childhood wonder, that's it. But in the Fable Cottage, his choice comes from a place of duty. When the old man says the beans will make him richer than the richest man, Jack immediately thinks about his mom. He's picturing how happy she'd be, how they could fix the house and be safe. He's not just curious, he's desperately trying to be the hero for his family. So the beanstalk shoots up into the sky, and Jack starts to climb. But why? What is he actually looking for up there? Is this just an adventure for the sake of it, or is he on a mission with a clear objective? And the difference is just night and day. The Gigglebox Jack, he's a pure explorer. He climbs because it's there, because it's a magical adventure in the unknown. But the Fable Cottage Jack, he has a very precise goal that comes from his earlier failure. He's thinking to himself, just 5 gold coins. That's all I need to make my mother happy. He's not exploring. He's on a mission to get the exact amount of money he failed to get in the first place. He's trying to fix his mistake. Okay, now we're at the real heart of it. Jack is inside the giant's castle. This is where the rubber meets the road, where his character gets defined by what he does. And the way these two stories frame his actions couldn't be more different. We're about to see the same events turn into either a heroic rescue or a string of escalating crimes. So let's look at the first thing he steals, the hen that lays golden eggs. In Gigglebox, it's not really theft at all because the hen literally talks to him, begging to be saved. But in the Fable Cottage, it's a whole different story. Jack actually finds and steals the 5 gold coins he came for first. Mission accomplished, right? But then he hesitates. He remembers they don't have a cow anymore. And that's when he sees the hen lay a golden egg. His brain immediately shifts from survival to profit. He's not thinking about fixing the house anymore. He's calculating that he could buy 50 cows. His mission is already changing. I mean, listen to this quote from the Gigglebox version. "Please help me, that giant is very cruel." That one line changes everything. Jack's action isn't theft, it's a rescue. He's liberating this poor, talking creature from an abusive owner. The giant is the villain, and Jack is the hero, stepping in to save the day. That gives him all the moral justification he needs. And the pattern just keeps going with the magic harp. In Gigglebox, yep, the harp also talks. It pleads with Jack to save it from the very mean giant. Again, Jack is a liberator. But in the Fable Cottage, oh man, Jack's ambition has just completely spiraled. He already has the money for the house, and he has the hen for financial security. He needs nothing else. But then he sees the harp, and his goal goes from survival to pure, unadulterated greed. He thinks, that harp would make me rich and famous. And the most telling detail? When he grabs it, the harp screams, "Help me, master." It calls out to the giant for help, proving Jack is, without a doubt, a thief. So by the time Jack is running out of that castle, we are looking at two totally different characters. The Gigglebox Jack is a brave hero. His curiosity led him to an injustice, and he did the right thing. But the Fable Cottage Jack, he's a boy whose good intentions got corrupted by greed. He went from a desperate mission to save his family to a selfish quest for wealth and fame. So how do these stories wrap up? I mean, with two such different Jacks, the consequences have to be different too. One is a hero, one is a thief. Do they both just get a simple happily ever after? Oh, not even close. The entire moral of the story comes down to what happens after Jack chops down that beanstalk. And here is the final jaw-dropping contrast. Gigglebox ends exactly how you'd expect. Jack is a hero, so he gets a hero's reward. He and his mom live well, they're never hungry again. The end. Simple. But the Fable Cottage, it gives us this complex, haunting ending. The giant doesn't even die. He just survives the fall and is stranded on Earth. And Jack, even with all his riches, is never truly happy. He spends the rest of his life eaten up by guilt for what he did. Wow. This line from the Fable Cottage is just, it's devastating. His guilt isn't just a bad feeling, it's a constant, physical thing he has to live with. He remembers the giantess, the one who was kind to him, who fed him, and now she's alone, weeping for her lost husband. The rain itself becomes a symbol of the sorrow he caused. Sure, he got rich, but it cost him his own peace of mind. That is a heavy, heavy lesson. So it all comes down to this. Who is Jack? Is he a hero who gets rewarded, or a cautionary tale about how greed can poison good intentions? The storyteller gets to decide. And that makes you think, doesn't it? Which version did you grow up with? Was your Jack a hero or a thief? And maybe more importantly, what does that choice tell us about the lessons we think are important to teach? Simple rewards for being brave or complex consequences for being greedy?
Thanks for watching StoryBean. See you in the next stories.